Welcome back as our political insiders join us for a discussion on what's going on at your state house. The Senate Judiciary Committee has killed a proposal to ban felons from having guns. Now, the federal government already says if you're a felon, you can't own a handgun, but some state lawmakers say, well, that's not really enforced in South Carolina. Is this pretty much common sense? Why would a Senate Judiciary Committee kill a proposal to ban felons from having guns?
Why does the Senate do half of what it does sometimes, JR? This makes absolutely no sense. A felon owning a gun, felons, by the nature of having committed a crime and having served time for that, having been found guilty, you lose certain rights and privileges. You don't have the right to vote. You don't have the right to carry a weapon. I think it makes no sense right now, especially in light of everything that we have going on right now within society, for this debate to even be going on. But this is a place where federal laws and state laws, the question is, where does the hammer fall, so to speak, and we've got too many people who are trying to argue points that don't need to be argued.
There's a bigger argument to be made and a bigger discussion to be had, and that's the issue of common sense gun reform measures, not taking away people's Second Amendment right. I love my firearm, Dave. Love to carry it. Very proud of it. But I think reasonable people would agree we have to do something so that some mother or some father will not need to plan another funeral, because that is happening now more so in this country than ever before. And so whether it's felons, whether it's people with mental health issues, whether it's background checks, I mean, the Senate should have been spending their time on a bipartisan bill that will close the Charleston loophole by Senator Gregory and Senator Kempston from Charleston to show a message to the nation that South Carolina is not the Wild Wild West, and we want to do things in a bipartisan way that makes sense for everybody.
I want to move on now to another issue, and that's medical marijuana. The Senate Medical Affairs Committee approving medical marijuana by an 8-6 vote. The measure's sponsor, though, doesn't think it's going to pass the General Assembly this year.
There is a lot of debate that's going on right now from the standpoint of helping people to understand the difference between marijuana for recreational use and marijuana for medicinal use, because, I mean, it is a God-given plant. It does have God-given natural things that allow the body to be able to get some positive benefits off of it, especially for cancer patients and those who are dealing with some very debilitating diseases like seizures and things along those lines. But we're also in an election year, and I don't think you're going to see this bill be able to move forward. But I do think that you're going to find this argument coming back with a stronger voice next year than this year, because there are members of the Senate right now who have said behind closed doors, medical marijuana in South Carolina is going to happen. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Now, I don't want the keyboard thugs to get on me or the trolls to beat me up after I say what I'm about to say, but I'm just being honest. I don't think that this is a big priority for the General Assembly, considering the time restraints we're on towards the end of the session. We still have to deal with a budget. We still have to deal with this 80-pound gorilla called Dominion and Scanner. What happens with that? Santee Cooper, what happened with that? There are more pressing issues. And then you have re-election, for God's sake. So there are more pressing issues that I think will supersede this issue this session. Now, that's not to say that this is not important. I don't want my Twitter to blow up to say the Democrats are saying this is not important. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, for the sake of time, May 10th is not too far away.
It's not too far away. And the thing about that, though, is this, and this is part of the legislative process, understanding the fact that there are about 6 weeks left in this legislative session. The House was off this week. The Senate is off next week. And
we have a shortened session.
And it's a shortened session, which means that May 10th is going to come. And when that date comes, we're done. That is it. Everything that's currently on the books right now comes to a close on that day. That's called sine die. It's like the end of the legislative session. And when that happens, it's fresh bills starting all over again.
All right, so you're talking about the end of the session coming up, and you mentioned some of the lawmakers taking a break next week. But when all the lawmakers are back following all of these breaks, they won't have many days left to finish the people's business, and the budget is a big part of that.
The budget is probably the most important thing the General Assembly does every year. In fact, I wish we moved to North Carolina and some of these other states where they come in off years, pass the budget, and go home, because the more time they're up there, the more dangerous it is
starting to
for
sound
South
more
Carolina.
Like a Republican than I've ever heard in my life.
For the state. But on a serious note, the clock, our backs are against the wall from a timing standpoint. They're big issues. the Senate passes some version of dealing with the Dominion scanner issue, it's going to go back to the House. Very likely the House will not agree. That'll go to conference. They will not concur on the budget. That'll go to conference. Those two massive things will meet head on in conference committee. Lord knows it could be a long year.
You can be guaranteed of this, JR. When May 10th comes, we will not be done with politics in South Carolina. There will be so many things that will be carried over into what's called the sine die resolution, which for folks at home, that's when they actually continue debate after the legislature is over with. That's going to be a place where we could be into extended debates on certain things that last well beyond this calendar
and
session.
Keep in mind, Dave, right after the May 10th deadline, you have that June primary for Democrats and Republicans.
And we are only 11 and a half weeks away from that race right now.
All right, before we wrap up, perhaps the biggest issue of the week, happy birthday to Antoine
Seawright.
How about that? Happy birthday
God,
to you.
there he is. Lap number 33 on the big track of life.
Is it 33?
33, happy as can be.
Happy birthday, bud.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Antoine Seawright, Republican strategist. Dave Wilson.
No!
Did I say Republican? Happy
Sounding
birthday.
more like a Republican
Happy
every
birthday.
day.
Antoine
Thank you so
Seawright,
much.
Democratic strategist. Our Republican strategist.
That's a good April Fool's joke.
It's just
A few days early, right?
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
We're going to wrap this up. Take a quick break, but when we come back,